Episode
662.
I'm gonna deck your halls, Bob.
BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ho, 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 ho. It's Christmas time. Well, it's just been Christmas time. You just missed it. We just missed it, actually. So we're coming to you the day after Christmas, known as Boxing Day for reasons only known to the mists of time.
I know.
Dan. Do you? All right, and there's Coleman. He knows things. Coleman, lay a knowledge bomb on me. A
Hi.
festive knowledge bomb. Hi.
The term Boxing Day, it's a UK term, and the idea is the day after Christmas. It's the day where you would re-gift the unwanted gifts to those less fortunate. Reboxing, Boxing Day.
Whereas now it's just shoving it in a box, sending it back to Amazon. Is basically what it said. It's Boxing Day for an entirely different reason.
I mean, at some point the focus then became around sales, but less so now, unless you're looking for a sofa or some carpet. Now the sales day tend to be the American Black Friday that we do in the UK now.
Nah, it's all nonsense. They always have sales on. Trust me, as a man who has recently had to buy a lot of things for the money pit he calls his house, they've always got a sale on. They're like, oh, today's 20% off, 20% off sofas, ends today. Next day, they've got exactly the same sale on. It's just a new one.
Damn.
This is what makes me so old and grumpy and cynical. All the things you shouldn't be around Christmas time. Talking of all the things you shouldn't be around Christmas time, Tim's ill, so he won't be joining us for these next couple of festive shows, which we're totally recording live during the festive period. But my amazing powers of foresight and clinical acumen tell me that Tim won't be with us for at least the next 3 shows. Hope it get well soon, buddy.
Tim turned out to be ill, thought he'd be okay. He's a bit more ill than we first initially realised. And we've kind of left it to the absolute last point where we can do these shows, because I'm going away tomorrow, so we have to record them sans Tin. But, he has given us all his answers for predictions of things he wants to play or games of the year and all that stuff. So we got a nice list of things that we can go through on his behalf.
Absolutely.
No AI Tim's here.
Yes, and there is AI Tim. We always have AI Tim.
There always AI Tim.
There's always AI Tim. Get well soon, mate. Just rub the cream in. That's what I told you to do in the beginning.
Good.
Rub the cream in, and always front to back. Front to back. Never
Dan,
back to front.
what are we discussing on this lovely Boxing Day 2025?
We are looking back on the year that was and trying to see how good our predictions were, because every year we tend to do 2 things. We tend to do our ones to watch for 2025 and also do what we used to call the Golden Barrel, but frankly, that's a little bit up ourselves. It's just our favourite games of 2025.
The Golden Barrel Awards was the website awards.
It was.
These were our picks of the top games of 2025. But yeah, we tend to take three games that we think are going to be absolute bangers of 2025 or the following year, and we made some lofty predictions. Some came out, some didn't, some were enjoyed, some weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, what did you have in yours?
So I had for my ones to watch of 2025. I had Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater,
a good choice,
which was successfully released, but I have failed to play this game. That's how much it was one of my ones to watch. I just watched it rather than played it. But I was quite interested for just because I think to me, it's the first proper redo of the Metal Gear, kind of the old Metal Gear Solid games that there has been. I always thought kind of Metal Gear Solid 3 was a really kind of interesting change in direction for the franchise, but it did really, really well. It sounds like it was a remake done properly. I was really glad they actually did it, because I think Konami really worked out that actually was quite a handy way to generate money for the company, the Metal Gear Solid franchise. And I know this is one that everyone was absolutely absolutely hanging on for. I mean, I think some of the things that didn't age so well are to be expected. I think the slightly mad storytelling, which actually stood next to something like Death Stranding, looks relatively sane now.
Yeah, it's tame now.
It's tame now. But it is kind of, a very obtuse Cold War tale. But no, I think I'm glad it got released. I think this is, it's a good a good way to kind of revitalize some of the older Metal Gear Solid games.
I've been playing it, and it is an interesting one because, as you say, it takes a different turn to the previous Metal Gear Solid titles. And, at a time when this first released, I was a bit kind of over Metal Gear Solid, and shifting the focus from Solid Snake to Big Boss, it was quite a cool move, but it was also a glimpse of where the studio was going to go in future, because this then followed up on Peace Walker. This followed up with Metal Gear Solid. We had a Metal Gear Solid 4, but then when we got to Metal Gear Solid 5, it was continuing with the Big Boss missions. We kept this character around. We kept following on with it, and the remake is a really, really good one. I've been enjoying it. I've got this on my rotation for the year. It's been really fun. Not the first remake though, Dan. That would be
no, you're right.
Twin Snakes.
Yes, Twin Snakes, and there's rumors they're going to go back and do the first Metal Gear Solid now as well, of course. So
I would like that. Well, that as in like the old SNES. SNES. NES.
No. As in Metal Gear Solid 1. As in. I know they've already done Twin Snakes, but there's rumors they're going to go back and do it again.
Okay. Metal Gear Solid Tactical Espionage.
Yes, Metal Gear Solid Tactical Espionage. That's the one.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do that again.
I think they're going to do it again more to modernize the controls more than anything else. I think because it does show its age. It really shows its age, that one. But no, I think it's good stuff. What else did I have? I had Slay the Spire II. Sadly, was delayed. But no, I have a very soft spot in my squishy little heart for Slay the Spire, and excited to see it come around again. It's a shame it's been delayed.
I've never played the first one.
It's worth checking out.
What's the premise of Slay the Spire?
It is a bit of your old roguelike deck builder goodness. But it's got a kind of quite an interesting cast of characters who have very, very, very different play styles, very, very different decks, and you can synergize them in different ways. It's just a good, fun, proper roguelike deck builder is the best way I can do it. It's just a really tightly designed gameplay loop. I mean, I think it probably does show its age a little bit. There's a giant whale involved as well for reasons that may or may not become clear. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it's probably one of the. There's a lot of games that have done the roguelike deck builder stuff now, but I think it was one of the first and one of the best, in my humble opinion. I really enjoy it. There's good variety in the enemies, good variety in kind of the gameplay modifiers. It's got an interesting story to it. A unique art style, which is Marmite for some people. Some people really like the art style to Slay the Spire. It's not other people don't like it quite so much. But I think it's a great game, worth checking out. I'm sure you can find it on. I'm not sure if it's on the Steam sale, but I'd imagine it's the kind of thing that would be on sale in a Steam sale.
I will take a look.
I can take.
But yeah, so this is meant to be coming out next year, March.
Yes,
so you can look forward to that in March, Dan.
Exactly. I mean, there's quite a lot happening in March, I think now. But yes, I shall be checking that bad boy out.
Now, surely your third pick, it wouldn't be anything divisive that we didn't like and then got slated on a TikTok.
No. I think to be fair, the slating of us on TikTok is like, you are too old to be on TikTok.
There was that. Or we misunderstood the source material, all that.
Yeah. So Doom: The Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Was one I had to watch. I put out to watch just because I thought it was an interesting alternate take on the usual Doom guy chainsaws his way through lots of enemies. Turns out it was actually quite similar to the previous Doom game, just tightened up quite a bit, and with some a much more. I hate to use this overused term, a much more visceral focus on kind of close quarters combat. I quite enjoyed it. I in parts, I think I don't know, it wasn't quite as didn't freshen up things quite as much as I thought, but it's, I think with the modern Doom games like Doom 2016, it's very much in that mold. It's all about you've got to have kind of a high damage output and keep monstering through enemies to keep yourself alive rather than hide in a corner and whimper like a big old scaredy cat, which is my general go-to tactic for first-person shooters. So
especially
to get
modern
my
ones.
Yeah, exactly. Get my brain out of that habit took a little while, but I think it turned out right. What was your thoughts on this one, Coleman? Remind me, sir.
I played a fair bit of this. I don't know why, but the Doom games, especially the modern ones, they appeal to me. And then when I play them, I like that they're very flash in the pan for me. I get into it. I go, oh, this is cool. It's nice and gory. I punch a thing, it explodes. That's fun. I got a gun. I shoot around. I run really fast. But then I just get so bored. It gets very samey and repetitive.
It does. And I think it, to me, I think I kind of felt like this in Doom 2016 as well, is that it's like, oh, this feels really cool, but then it slightly overstays its welcome, or I felt that it had slightly overstayed its welcome a little bit. It's like, it could be a bit tighter. It felt a bit meandering, almost a little bit self-indulgent in some ways, but I still think there's a solid game there, and you can do a lot worse than picking this up. Should you see it on offer? And again, I'm pootling around the old Steam Winter Sale. I'm sure you can find it for a nice price.
Well, and it's on Game Pass as well if you're a Game Pass subscriber.
Yes.
But there are a lot of Doom fans. There's a reason why these games do so well. I don't know why. I just can't gel with them. I keep trying. I'll probably try again at some point.
I think for me, it is that kind of disconnect to the way you play it. Because for me, the whole point about the way the modern Doom games work is that if you are not chewing through enemies at a really high rate, you're not going to get the pickups you need to be able to survive and succeed. Whereas kind of a lot of first-person shooters or other first-person shooters is all about hiding until you heal up and then you engage in combat again. Whereas this, you just got to be stuck in all the time, which I think turns it on its head a little bit, and is quite good. But I think it's a fair point that perhaps it does slightly overstay its welcome.
All right. Well, I'll run through mine pretty quick. So we've got the easiest title of the year to remember. It's Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which I was just I don't think so. When I was when the Yakuza games started coming out, I found them very appealing. Never quite got into them, and then only recently started getting to them over the last couple of years. This one, I thought this was going to be a side story, like the Samurai game, where it's all the characters kind of recast as different characters, and it was a historical game. I thought we were doing the same, but with pirates, which I was well up for because I love me a pirate game. And I jumped into this not realizing it is actually a main canonical side story to the full game. It's one of the characters there loses his memory and becomes a pirate in the modern day. But
as you do,
it's very, very fun. It's got excellent combat. It's very fast and frenetic. It's a beautiful, colorful game. It's very, very funny. There's a whole point where like the opening to the game is a few hours of you going through and kind of establishing things, and you get the hang of it and go, yeah, I'm enjoying this game. And then all of a sudden, like once you've got your crew and your ship, they all have a musical number. And then it flashes up the title card. That is probably the longest intro to a game I've ever played. But yeah, the crew combat, the ship combat is all fun. It's a very enjoyable game. If you're a fan of the Like a Dragon series, formerly the Yakuza series, I'm sure that you will find some enjoyment in this. But I haven't gone through all of those games. I'm not the hugest fan of them in the world, but I thought this was a very, very good game. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's the thing. I haven't really played any of the Yakuza games in the past, and to me, I was just like, going on here? Am I just going to be an old, middle-aged man? They are very. I hear there's quite a lot of whimsy. There's a lot of whimsy.
They are charismatic, very fun, and very silly. But yeah, it all just works. And for some reason, you should just play arcade games in them, which is really cool. That was the worst bit. I booted up that game, and Ed's like a super fan of the Like a Dragon games, and we were messaging each other as we were playing. And I got to a point where your first kind of save point is a master system connected next to the save point. So for the first couple of hours, I was playing Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I kind of forgot about the game.
Doing it wrong, Coleman. Doing it wrong.
It's a very good game. I was really enjoying it, and
nice.
I do enjoy those Yakuza games. I need to go back to some of the older ones. Okay, my next one. I don't need to go through this too much because this will be coming up later, I'm sure. Okay. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I am a massive fan of the Kojima series of games. I was very excited for. Well, that was weird. When they announced Death Stranding, I was excited for. I wonder what Kojima's doing rather than the actual game itself. And then I wasn't really enamored by the game from the announcement. And then over time, it came out. Curiosity got the better of me. Ended up picking it up. Got really, really into it. But it is a very long game, so it took me like 3 attempts. And because I switched from PS4 to 5, I ended up starting the game over again. But it took me like 3 proper attempts to get into that game and finish the first one. And I did it probably the same year they announced, just before they announced Death Stranding 2. So I was very, very excited for this game. We'll get to that later. But it was a necessary and worthwhile purchase for me. I thought it was going to be, and it turned out to be true. Very good game.
No, I mean, again, it's one of those things. I did a brief dabble a while ago on the original Death Stranding. It was just very Kojima, and I think I was just like, I don't have the brain space to get my head round the latest Kojima fever dream just yet. But again, I think really to get the most out of Death Stranding 2, is it fair to say that really you should start with the original and then get to this?
It has a previously in Death Stranding kind of thing in the menu for you to review and then go to this, but I do think you need to play the first game. Although I've been told by Kev, he told me that he disagreed when I said you really should play the first game and said that you could jump into the second one just fine. But I think you need to play the first one first. And plus, there's so many things you'd miss if you didn't finish the first game, which is a really good game. There's a whole mission in that game. I mean, I've been talking about this for ages. There's a whole mission in that game, a side mission where you deliver pizzas in that game, and it's completely optional. You don't have to do it. And by the time you get to the end, if you've delivered all the pizzas, it turns out you've been delivering them to your nemesis this entire time. It's really, really funny. So when you find their base, there's just like all these empty pizza boxes there.
You're going to, God damn it.
It was cool. The other one I picked, and this was my miss, but we all had a miss this year for the first time ever, I think. Yes. Fable, the reboot of Fable. Is it a reboot? Is it a sequel? Who can tell? But there was meant to be a new Fable game this year. This got pushed back to next year.
Mm-hmm.
I am still excited about this game. I do love a Fable game. I love the kind of, over the years, they've gone for the British voice talent they seem to have taken from British comedies, and they continue to do the same. I don't know the actor's name. The chap who plays Super Hands in Peep Show, he's in this. Richard Ayoade's in this game. There's a couple of familiar faces you will see pop up in the trailers. It just really, really appeals to me, and I would put this in my ones to watch for next year, but I don't repeat games because I got burnt by Scalebound that one time and twice, and then never again. I refuse. Never again.
Never.
So it is a shame. I am still looking forward to this. I hope this releases in 2026 because Xbox needs some games.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, don't you think it's rather kind of tied to the fate of Xbox a little bit here? I mean, I think it probably will release, but I don't know. Xbox, Microsoft, in terms of kind of game, feel in a really odd place.
Thing is, though, if it doesn't come to Xbox, and I probably could run this on my PC, but I'd want to play this on a console, to be honest. Sit down and relax and play. What's to stop Microsoft just going, all right, this is now a multi-platform game?
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
As they've been doing. Yeah,
they have been.
Like the 1 year exclusivity period seems to be getting shorter and shorter in a lot of cases. So just look at Indiana Jones. But yes, Fable. Still looking forward to that. Tim's three. So we had Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. This is the as the name implies, the game set in the Marvel universe in 1943, where in Nazi occupied France they've got Captain America on a mission, but also they've got T'Challa's grandfather, whose name I forget, but the Black Panther of the time.
Yeah.
Yes,
yep.
just Black Panther. Played by the guy from Walking Dead, whose name I also forget. But this was kind of shown off as a tech demo initially.
Yeah, it was the poster child of Unreal Engine 5, wasn't it?
And then following the tech demo, they were like, okay, this is an actual game. It's coming from Skydance Media. They seem to have been a bit busy this year acquiring Paramount, but the game kind of... And as soon as they showed this off and said it was coming out this year, it's like, not coming out. It's not coming out in 2025. Absolutely no way. And I've kind of heard from some sources, like if this came out in 2025, it's probably a 4 to 6 hour game. And I think they need to build on that a bit more if that was the case. But this looks like it's delayed to 2026. I would still be surprised if this comes out in 2026, to be honest. But
I think it will be. I think it will squeak in around probably. Well, I mean, there is a new Avengers movie coming out towards the end of next year, so I wonder if they'll try and. Yeah, I wonder if they'll try and target where there's almost certainly going to be some timey-wimey alternate timeline nonsense going on. So I wonder if that might fit in quite nicely to the plans they have.
Oh, like they do those Spider-Verse films where they chuck the video game characters in the background and stuff. Yeah. I mean, and because they're using real actors for the face scanning, I guess you could totally do that.
Yeah. I wonder if that could be a thing. But I reckon it will release. I think it'll probably sneak in probably October, November time is what I'm guessing.
Okay. I do like a Captain America game. There was a Captain America game tie-in for the movie on the Xbox 360. It's not the best game in the world. It's quite boring, really, and slow-paced. But the shield attacks and stuff, I really like that. So the idea of building on that is way cool. And also, it's Amy Hennig's game. So
yes,
we haven't seen. Amy Hennig has a track record of the mother of Uncharted. And then everything gets cancelled. Every game she works on gets cancelled. All studios get shut down.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's hope this one comes out. And tying herself to another Disney, because she worked on a Star Wars game that got cancelled. So going for another Disney property is an interesting one. Tim also had Avowed picked.
Fungus Bears.
Yeah, interesting choice. This game, when it got announced initially, it was going for more of a kind of dark, medieval, magic type affair. And then the closer we got to launch, everything got very super colorful.
Yes.
Which was
because this
interesting.
Is set notionally in the same universe as Pillars of Eternity.
Correct.
I think,
that's right.
But it's kind of a little bit more of a multicolored, but multicolored, bit more engaging than the kind of the PoE that we know. But I mean, I think this game was received by many as it's a perfectly serviceable game, but it's nothing kind of blow you out the water. It was perfectly good, but it wasn't much more than that. Is what the reviews tended to do.
Unfortunately, this game got let down a lot by technical issues on first its review period and then on its launch, mostly on PC. I played quite a lot of this game, and I don't know, I just wasn't gelling with it at all. Tim really, really liked this game, though.
And I think some of the criticisms were it was trying to position itself as a big open world game, and it wasn't really. It was kind of a fair. I mean, it was expansive, but it was.
It's pretty open.
Yeah, I mean, that's some of the criticism I heard about it was that it perhaps wasn't the big wide open game it would like to think of itself as. It was perhaps a little more linear than that, and the loot could be a bit stingy and things like that. But
if I'll give it this, if we had a lesser year of games, I probably would have played a lot more of this. If this was released in lockdown, I probably would have played a lot more of it. But yeah, I don't know. I had
think
better
you can say
games
that
to be
about
playing.
a lot of things. If it was in lockdown.
Well, yeah, most of my lockdown was dedicated to Marvel's Avengers. So
how'd that work out for
Marvel's Avengers. I mean, it did all right, and now it's in maintenance mode. And the last one was Ghosts of Yōtei. We don't need to go too much into this because this is going to come up again, I guarantee. This is a game I'm still playing. It's a very good game.
Okay.
But the follow-up to Ghost of Tsushima, no wonder Tim was excited about it because Ghost of Tsushima very quickly became not only Tim's favorite game of that year, but that became one of his favorite games of all time. So he was all hyped on Ghost of Tsushima. I wasn't so hyped on this because I didn't get along with Ghost of Tsushima in such the same way that Tim did. But for some reason, this one gelled with me. So more on that later.
Yeah, because, I mean, we'll come back to it in a bit. But again, its storytelling was kind of well lauded, but it's kind of, it felt like it was a bit off a bit more than it could chew with its open world setting. Could it just be a slightly more scripted, more elegantly choreographed bit of storytelling than this perhaps a slightly rambling approach it took, a bit like me with its open world nature. But I'm sure we'll come back to that.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Indeed, we will. So now that we've prattled on about the ones we wanted to watch, in my case, quite literally ones I watched rather than played. I think we're going to do our usual thing about things that in the year that went by, what were our 3 favorite games? So I can crack on if you like. I've kind of gone a little bit indie.
I will just say, just in case anyone's like new to the show, but we do this every year, and the rules are this. These aren't specifically the games of the year. They're just the games that we've enjoyed playing for the year.
Yes.
We try to mix it up and make sure we don't copy, have the same game twice with other people's choices. So, for instance, I might have picked a game that Tim's already picked, so I'll pick something different. But it's just a choice of 3 different games that we've all enjoyed.
Yes. Exactly. They're not they're ones that we, as us, enjoyed.
Yes. No expansions.
Mm-hmm.
No remasters.
Which is why I'm not allowed to talk about Destiny 2 ever. Actually, I haven't played a lot of Destiny 2 this year.
I think that's why we came up with that rule.
Yeah, I think it was. So I can crack on and probably whip through these. They're kind of, mine are quite indie focused, although the middle one is, pushing the definition of indie, arguably. But first up for me was Hades 2.
Good choice.
I loved Hades 1. It was a brilliant kind of dungeon crawler roguelike. This is more of the same, but with a different protagonist. I very much enjoyed it. It's kind of more range combat than up close all the time. I think visually the game is an absolute treat. Sound design, as with many Supergiant games, is absolutely brilliant as well. Super tight gameplay. Really kind of feels that it is skill based rather than kind of just pure bad luck that you sometimes get with these roguelikes. It's challenging in a good way. It always feels that you can push that little bit further into your run each additional time as you kind of unlock your permanent upgrades. But I loved it. Brilliant game. Brilliant controls, brilliant gameplay, brilliant graphics, brilliant sound. What's not to love?
Is it brilliant?
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Pretty brilliant.
Bloody play it, mate. Brilliant.
It does look cool. I never finished Hades, so I still have that to
I don't think you need to have finished Hades to get the most.
I know, but I enjoy Hades. And I do like going back to Hades, so I don't quite need to justify the expense on this one yet. However, I will say I made the silly mistake because this was pre-Steam Deck. I bought this on Nintendo Switch, and then I bought it on Epic Game Store so I could do cross-save progression, which is not on Steam. And I would rather be playing this on my Steam Deck without using the side-loading trick of putting Epic games on your Steam Deck, because they never perform quite as well.
No, but this plays very well on the Steam. I played it mostly on the Steam Deck, and I found it quite a nice, tight response. It's not quite as smooth and flawless as the original one played on the Steam Deck, but still very, very good, very, very smooth, responsive gameplay, even on massive.
I'm sure they're improving it over time. Supermassive are quite into fixing their games. Supergiant, sorry, not
Supergiant Games. Yes, I always get them confused. No, I really enjoyed it. All the things that are great about Hades 1, but given a good spit and polish, and it feels like a really, truly new game, not just more of the same, which sometimes happens with sequels.
Nice.
Nice.
Second game of Dan's year.
Second game of Dan's year was, like many other people, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Brilliant game. It came out of nowhere, this game, and I think that's kind of what made it such a joy. It was so unexpected. I think I kind of initially approached it with, this looks like a load of arty-farty nonsense, which probably meant which is what you like, and probably made me slightly skeptical of it going in, but I just thought it was a fantastically put together game. Really, really well written, really tight narrative, brilliant gameplay. They really refined, I think, kind of some of the JRPG tropes. They really kind of added something to it rather than it just being kind of a slavish remake of kind of classic Final Fantasy games of years gone by. The battle system kind of felt absolutely brilliant. I really kind of like the fact that they actually kind of snuck in quick time, which I'm usually not a massive fan of, but I think it kind of really took the kind of the turn-based fighting up to another level. It kind of gave it a sense of immediacy that I think a lot of the combat in JRPGs misses. Yeah, just a fantastic game. I know there have been some eyebrows raised about how some of its assets were generated with a very small indie team trying to make something of this size, scale, and scope. I can kind of see why. There have been some allegations of, did AI help at all? Yeah.
I've not heard those allegations.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well,
shall I just fact check that?
I mean, it's fine. Did say allegation. It's alleged. No, I mean, I enjoyed that game. I need to play more of it. Unfortunately, it's a banner year of big games for me. So keep getting distracted by shiny things. But all intents and purposes, seems to be doing really well. It's cleaned up at the Game Awards. I'm sure it will clean up at the BAFTAs. But more importantly to this little French studio, it's one of Dan's games of the year.
It is. So just to clarify on that, on my AI thing. So the Indie Game Awards has withdrawn 2 awards previously given to Clair Obscur. Not because of how indie is defined with the small budget of $10 million, but because a representative of Sample Interactive had agreed that no Gen AI had been used in the development in the game when, in fact, it had been. So
is it assets in the finished game, or is it just for development?
They did subsequently patch them out.
Okay.
Subsequently.
Wow, this completely went past me.
Yes. So in a video on State posted Indie Game Award website, and despite the fact that the assets in question, quote, the assets in questions were patched out, and it's a wonderful game, close quotes, the awarding team said this does go against the regulations of Gen AI being used to help develop a game. Now, that's a slippery slope right there, because I think increasingly in a lot of industries, a lot of companies, a lot of individuals are using AI as a bit of an accelerator to get to that first draft stage, which they then keep that human firmly in the loop and iterate on. But yeah, so that is the only thing that's slightly clouded, but I think it is a fantastic game.
I do wonder, with the kind of industry standard of using more and more generative AI in different places for development, and clearly that's going to slip out into full games, but also it's going to intentionally get used in full games. Activision. So you're going to see stuff like this more often. I do wonder if give it 1-2 years, and then these parameters for awards are going to get removed, and then do Clair Obscur then argue that they had their awards removed.
Well, you could argue as well that actually Gen AI could preferentially, at the risk of going to Great British debate mode here, could I can't speak. Preferentially, yeah,
speed it up.
Yeah, could be a particular benefit to the indie scene where they're looking to contain costs, and this is a way to perhaps try things out or help iterate on ideas in a less expensive way than may have been otherwise. So anyway, that's a whole hairy discussion for another time, which I'm not going to go down. But what I will do is tell you that my third best or favoritist 2025 was one released relatively late in the year, and that was the Séance of Blake Manor. Again, something that kind of came out of nowhere for me. This is the paranormal murder mystery game that's kind of very much inspired graphically by kind of the art style of people like Mike Mignola. I really enjoyed this. It was not something I was expecting or was particularly looking forward to, but I do kind of like this kind of game where you've got to really pay attention to the world around you and the characters that you're interacting with. Think about what their motivations were, dig into kind of just the obvious of what's in front of you to really work out what the plot and subplots are. I think this is a cracking game. Really worth playing. Really, really good long-form narrative game. One that actually is quite chill in some ways. You can kind of, even though you're ostensibly racing against the clock, it's not in real time. It's kind of as you do a thing. So each time you interact with something, that uses up a minute or a number of minutes. And it's all about planning your investigation around the movements of people in Blake Manor as you go about your business, being a clever detectorist and stuff, trying to work out what the bad man's did to the unfortunate bad man's or bad woman's did to the unfortunate lady in question.
There's been a lot of that going around.
There has been a lot of that going around. Well, we're checking out Corking Game. Really, I think deserves more attention than it has got.
Cool.
That's my 3.
I will go for my 3, and before I do that, I will say we were very close to me having 3 big open world games as my top 3 games of the year, which is weird. And if it wasn't for Tim picking one of a game that I've been enjoying, then I would have definitely had 3 big open world games. And if it wasn't for this game coming out, it would have also been 3 different open world games. But Dispatch, this was a late year kind of thing for me. This is one that I didn't know existed. This was announced at Game Awards, I think previous year. A trailer was shown off, but this completely just blew past me. I did not know anything about this. It came out, and then I saw a few outlets covering it, sort of going, "Oh, what is Dispatch? Let's talk about Dispatch." This is a game that harkens back to the style of the narrative evolution of the point and click, I'd say, where Telltale Games they took over the Monkey Island games,
hover and squeeze,
carried on
if
from
you
there.
will.
Yeah, I guess so. But yes, focused narrative games where it's taking different choices, picking different dialogues, story-based titles. They really kind of jumped into popularity thanks to the Walking Dead series, and then they kind of bit off a bit more than they could chew and kept taking on more high-profile titles, and it kind of blew up in their face. So they went away. They've come back. This isn't Telltale. This is the remnants of Telltale that formed a new studio. They're working through a new engine entirely. They are not doing something that's licensed. They're doing a brand new story, brand new characters, and it's all set in this kind of world where superheroes exist, and there is an agency that you can subscribe to, and they will dispatch superheroes to your location to assist you with things. And it could be something like the old Superman trope of my cat is stuck in a tree. It could be there's a bank robbery in process. It could be my store is burning down. you play the role of a character that was a kind of a tech superhero, Mecha Man, who had a big mech suit. Mech suit got destroyed. He goes into a role
was then
playing
just man, and therefore not quite as exciting.
Basically, but then he then goes off into this dispatch. He works as a dispatch operator for this superhero insurance company, essentially, dispatching the different superheroes, picking what combinations of characters are going out. And it's a 2-part game. It's half of it is the kind of regular Telltale narrative, story driven, picking different options and making friends or enemies along the way. And then the other part is this game of dispatching where you're kind of looking at a switchboard and a map of the city, and different objectives will pop up and you have to pick which characters to send out. It's a very enjoyable game. It is episodic. Luckily, it's not the old style where they'd go, okay, we're going to release a game and then you buy that, and then in about 2 months you should get the next part. I think they got all 5 episodes out in around 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
So they're all out now. If you end up picking up the game, I think it's around £25. You do have access to all of those straight away. I found it very, very enjoyable. I played through twice, in fact, which I rarely do with a narrative game, but I had to go through and do like the dickhead run after doing the good guy run. But yeah, it's very good. Stellar voice cast. A lot of them are YouTube celebrities, but they've got some actual professional voice actors in there. Jeffrey Wright's in there. Aaron Paul stars in the game. Laura Bailey. All really, really, really good. But yeah. And then there's the streamer of the year, Moist Critical, playing a version of Man, but as you do.
Shame, no Peanut Boy. What was his name?
Burnt Peanut.
Burnt Peanut. I was about to call him Damp Peanut for some reason.
He's actually quite funny. After we discovered him on the show, I ended up watching a bunch of his videos. He does a lot of Arc Raider stuff. It's very funny.
Have you picked up Arc Raiders? On the complete down, have you picked up Arc Raiders?
No.
Do we need to pick up Arc Raiders?
I don't know. It's like 20 quid at the moment as well.
I know, I saw that on the... but I just know I'll be terrible at it. But if me, you, and Tim are all terrible at it together, could that be good fun?
Well, let's see if Tim pulls through this illness or not, because it could be a twosome at this point. It's a bit dark. If this show starts and there's an in memoriam to Tim, then you know something's gone wrong.
Tim is okay, by the way. Just to be clear, Tim is not on death's door or anything like that.
I don't know. Jury's been out for a while.
Well, he's propped himself up with Quorn for quite some time.
My next one, Hell is Us, which
yes.
This is one Tim was excited about, and I ended up super getting into it. But this is a very kind of dark, post-apocalyptic kind of game set in a war-torn country. Well, it's not.
Sounds
it's not
like a fun time.
But yeah, and I like a dark and grisly game sometimes, and this is one. But you play a character that's searching for his parents. Goes into this war-torn country where he's initially from. While he's there, ends up taking some weapons off of a defeated foe, and then going out into the world and fighting with phantoms. The reason I really like this game is it kind of, even though it feels a bit Souls-light, because it has the kind of Souls-like mechanics, but it's not as gruesome and unforgiving as a lot of those games are. I found it a lot more forgiving that way. The gameplay itself, the actual kind of narrative way this game works, which harkens back to a lot of much older games from kind of our childhood, it has that method of, right, there's no marker, there's no map, like you get dropped off into a kind of small an open biome area. You'll need to walk around, survey what's going on, and if you interact with something and there's a piece of dialogue, you need to remember that, because there's not going to be a quest marker or a quest objective or something. If you meet someone and they go, I had a special object somewhere, and I used to be a school teacher, and then you find a school and it's like, oh right, I remember that person said about being a school teacher. So it kind of takes you back to the yesteryear of actually making notes and writing down things. It's one that I kind of had to put by the wayside, because I found this is a game I can't play in conjunction with other games. I need to just focus on this game. So And unfortunately as well, I don't think it's very easy to pick up once you've put it down. So I might have to start again, which is a shame because I've put like 40 hours into this game. and I might need to start it again. But it is very good. Hell is Us. I keep seeing it go up for sale on different places. So it's definitely one to look out for if you need a bit of a challenge and something to really get into.
Currently available for £26.99 on Steam. That's
not
with a 40%
bad at all.
Discount.
There you go. Not bad at all. Yeah, pick that one up. That's,
is unsupported on your Massive Geek, though.
That's, well, yes. It's I could have seen that coming, but I'm playing it on PS5, so.
Okay.
PS5
Not in the
Pro.
cheap seats.
It's very, I don't want to say enjoyable because it's very grisly, but it is enjoyable. I mean, the trailer opens with a pile of dead bodies in a pit like it's World War II, you know?
Nice. Family fun for all the family.
Well, it's weird as well because I think I mentioned this when we were reviewing the game on the show previously, but when you play this game, it's like I thought I could have sworn this is some kind of like Eastern European developer that are taking from their family's experiences or something. And I looked out, I was like, oh, it's a Canadian developer. Weird.
Wow, they've gone off the deep end. Usually they seem so chipper.
It's so polite.
It's what's raging under the surface of your average Canadian.
Right, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Spoke about it earlier. It came out, and the one thing I was worried about, because we've had a few years of games that I've been super excited about. A lot of them sequels to games that I previously enjoyed on the PS4. They come out for the PS5, and they perform like arse. They look bad. They are slow. They have bad frame rates. They are blurry, to make up for the fact that they're not optimized well for a console, even though in some cases they're console exclusive. I was very, very worried when we were getting closer to this game coming out because it just looks so good. I was like, there's no way it's going to perform like this. I'm looking at a super hyper PC version of the game, and the PS5 version's not going to play anything like that. It's exactly like this. It's so good. It performs so well. And they made the very clever decision to go, okay, all those things that you unlocked in the previous game, you're not going to have them straight away, but you're going to unlock them a lot quicker than you unlock them in Death Stranding. So it makes the game more kind of accessible for the every player. But it's Kojima bizarre writing. I know a lot of people don't like that. I know a lot of people don't like the on-the-nose characters. But
it looks full on Kojima. I mean, there's a lady with animatronic rubber gloves around her neck.
Yeah. Can't really explain
I was going to put that out there. Just explain that, Coleman.
It's
that
weird because like there's a surgery scene and the hands just kind of go around her mouth like it's a little surgical mask, and then there's moments where the gloves are holding a cigarette for her and she's kind of smoking, and then they go away while she's talking and then they come back again. It's very it's very Kojima. I love it so much. I really, if I didn't get so into Ghost of Yōtei, I'd be playing this down. And I really want to get back to this because I got so far into it. I'm a bit worried now that I've stopped playing it for so long. I'm going to pick it up and go, I can't remember how to do
what's
things.
going on.
And, and I was doing live streams of this, and Tim was jumping into the live streams going, so this is a game about just building roads. I go, no, strands, Tim. It's a strand game. It's
I mean, I still think that's a load of old boo hockey, isn't it? You know, what is a strand game? What is that about, mate?
It's about connecting strands between other settlements. And in the previous game, like the idea was, so America, there's been a post-apocalyptic event. There's these weird ghost things that are in the sky, and if they get you, they'll kill you, and you'll blow up and leave a big crater. And it's all very weird and Kojima. So the American civilization is kind of restricted to underground cities that you never see, but you see kind of the entrance points to. And your whole thing is to kind of essentially go out and connect the internet between those two, each of the bases, so that they can share resources and be in communication with each other and heal the world. This one, you finish doing the US, you move to Mexico, and then shortly after that, Australia, and then it keeps going. I love this game so much.
Yep.
Dan, I can't. This is probably my game of the year.
All right.
I love it
maybe
so
I need to give the first one a go, which sounds like required reading, I think, for this. But
yeah.
But yes, so
Right.
I suppose we ought to kind of give Tim's ones a little bit of an airing. So Tim's best of 2025. We've already spoke about this at a little bit of length. Ghost of Yōtei.
Yes. I will comment. This is the
yes.
game that I'm still playing now. I've put over 50
Okay.
hours into this game. I am very much enjoying it.
And you are busy at that petrol station, so you finding 50 hours split into anything is a bit of a glowing endorsement, really.
Exactly. A lot of it is like half an hour in the evening and then go, right, time for bed. But I do play this game a lot, and I keep going back to it, and I just can't stop playing until I've finished. This is I don't know why. Well, I know why this. The problem I had with Ghost of Tsushima is when it got to the open world, it was kind of too much. There was too much stuff going on, and I was very easily getting lost and losing interest in the game. This one, although it is a big open world, it's probably bigger than the first game. I've not looked into the specs of any of this stuff. It does a really good job of keeping you on the correct path and keeping your focus so you can go off and do the side stuff, but like there's more important things you should be doing right now. So that's kind of what's kept my focus in this game.
Okay.
It's very enjoyable. If you liked Ghost of Tsushima, you're probably going to like Ghost of Yōtei. If you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima and you want to try this, I don't think there's a real... It's set like hundreds of years after Ghost of Tsushima, so there's not really a narrative reason for you. There are some callbacks. There's no real narrative reason for you to have to play the first one before this one. But that said, probably cheaper getting the first one than the second one, so I don't know. But I really like it. And I can see why Tim picked it as one of his games of the year.
Yeah. So next up on Tim's favoritist things of the year was Ball X Pit, which both of us have played as well.
One of my Steam Deck games of the year.
It's a really surprising... I still take issue with the fact that Tim tried to describe this as Arkanoid. It's not Arkanoid.
It's
Arkanoid
kind of Arkanoid.
It's not Arkanoid. Really not.
It's Arkanoid style.
What, insofar as there's things bounce off walls,
Dan,
that does not make it... don't start... No.
Dan, it is, and I quote,
not.
New age fun with a vintage feel.
I know. Okay, I know. You also love your life as one of those as well. But
absolutely.
But this is not Arkanoid, but it is a great game. It is kind of a cast of characters, each with kind of different abilities. In terms of kind of like the base balls they start with and kind of their unique character traits. And you are fighting your way down into hell, because why not? But there's also kind of a really interesting meta game as well about kind of setting up your settlement, upgrading buildings to unlock characters, extra abilities, make sure that you kind of you're organizing your town the most efficient way to get as many of the characters farming and building stuff as well, which is quite interesting. It still feels a little overwhelming to me in parts, but the core game is really, 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 really good. I think the kind of the overworld metagame could do with slightly better explanation on how to optimize your setup, but I think this is a corking little game. And like you say, on the Steam Deck, lots of fun. Great for that.
Yes. Yeah, despite it being a Game Pass game, and that's why Tim kind of jumped into this one. As soon as I looked at that and I went, Steam Deck, I need that on the Steam Deck. I have to purchase that game. Despite being a Game Pass subscriber, I need it on the Steam Deck, and it's a good one. Great commute game.
Yes.
Which is what I'm looking for in Steam Deck games. The next one, another game we played. So we changed the rules of the Game of the Years last year because we ended up leaving it to the absolute last minute and not playing until we played all the games of the year. And we decided to go from November to December for the November cut off there. So this is released last year in December for the Xbox and the PC. This year for PS5. But Tim's last pick was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
We'll let him off. The poor guy's dying of man flu.
This came out in December last year, so it qualifies. That's what I'm saying. We now cut off in November.
Yeah, I mean, I played this through to completion. Really enjoyed kind of it felt very true to the source material in kind of both in the slightly cheeky way that Indiana Jones is. I found the main antagonist a little too hammy by the end of it. But I did have a great time solving puzzles and feeling like I was a super clever professor of archaeology who's a dab hand with a whip as well.
It is
it's good fun.
Perfect tribute. It is a perfect tribute to the Indiana Jones series. I like the idea that Indiana Jones can now live on in video game form. I think Troy Baker does a very good Harrison Ford, although a lot of it's just being grumbly. And having your voice modulated ever so slightly. But I it's really, really good. I like, I love a hammy actor for Indiana Jones films. The bad guy should be hammy. It played very well. I never finished it. I do need to go back to this. I will say this game opens it does a tutorial, and the tutorial is Raiders of the Lost Ark, the kind of taking the idol scene. After playing that, I was kind of sad this wasn't just like a straight up let's do the greatest hits of Indiana Jones in video game form, which if they did that as DLC, I'd be day one purchase that over the actual main game itself. But it is very good, and I like this idea. And I also love that Indiana Jones looks more realistic in this than the weird CG abomination they made in the last film. The last film where they tried to make young Indiana Jones but kept old Harrison Ford's voice.
Very strange. Very strange. But good yes, choice. I think there have been. So I think those are 9 good games. You could do a lot worse than those 9 games. I think that's quite a nice bit of variety we've got there. So check any of those out, and by the time you're hearing this, if you should still be able to find many a platform sale on. So I'm sure you can pick some of these up for a nice price, which you could do a lot worse. A nice price, which and all of these are guaranteed good times, or at least in our opinion. So check them out.
Check them out. Recommends.
Yes. So I think that's probably it for this show. We ought to stop rambling into a microphone and get back to whatever we are actually doing on Boxing Day. So thank you one and all. Hope you had a lovely festive season. And Coleman and I will be back in about a week or so, where we shall talk to you about the ones, maybe a week-ish. It'll be a week-ish. It'll be a week. Where we're gonna prevaricate on the ones we're looking forward to in the coming year. So download that at a time of your choosing, but at least in a week's time, and we'll speak to you then. So all that's left is really for us to remind you that I've been Dan.
I have been Coleman.
And Tim's somewhere out there.
Oh, also, we're not doing the plugs, but I will say you should probably go to bigredbarrel.com, the website that hosts this here podcast.
Yes. Do that. Say hello on Discord as well. bigredbarrel.com/Discord, I believe. Or Muntu Hafwa.
Rest in peace.
So,
that's what Tim got.
Yes.
Tim's in bed with Munta Hafwa. Okay. It might be fatal.
He shouldn't have picked it. He shouldn't have picked it. I told him not to.
He needs a doctor.
I'm a bit out of practice these days. Right. We are going to get out of here. Thank you so much for downloading us. Have a lovely rest of the holiday season, and we'll speak to you in 2026. So until next time, dear listeners, doodle bye.
Are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
You play as a wireframe demon who one day looks up at the moon and goes, I want to eat that. So he makes a deal with the devil. Right. The devil gives Tussin with the mission of eating all 6 moons